Once again, Emmanuel Macron has lost total control of not just his government, but also the whole of the country as the French voters come out to protest against his people and the European Union globalists. Things seem to be absolutely stable inside the European Union. If you listen to the British Ramoners and rejoiners, we should easily go back to the EU because things seem to be so heavenly. Absolutely brilliant. The economy is not growing, the inflation is up, the currency weakened, and there are widespread protests. The stability of the continent is at risk, and we are now complaining about someone eating cake and having a birthday party in their office, and we get rid of him and we change somebody, but we bring in somebody else. We change our mind. We say no, the voters of the Tory party, the members were wrong. Let's just change the result and install Rishi Sunak, the same person that the Tory members didn't want. But in France, things seem to be even worse because widespread protests against Macron's government, against the European Union ideology, and against big government globalism continues to make things worse. These images absolutely powerful and huge. These are not just a protest of 200 people, 500 people, massive crowds across the country against the policies of Macron's centrism, as they say. In reality, this is actually a complete loss of control from the French elite, because this is not the first time we've had problems when it comes to domestic policies of France, but even international policies, foreign affairs. Generally speaking, when it comes to Germany and France, the voters of those countries and other members of the European Union constantly criticize the leadership of these places, France, Germany, and many other places that used to have the globalist elite controlling them. For example, Italy, until recently, because people are slowly waking up. They are waking up. Now, we've had a wave of strikes that are battering Emmanuel Macron's authority. There are various issues when it comes to the energy crisis. The ghost of 1968 movements and protests are haunting Macron, as France as a country are going to be experiencing a winter of discontent. You're going to have blackouts, you're going to have complete energy crisis, and the energy bills going up despite efforts from the government to keep them cheap. This is going to cause a lot of trouble. Now, when it comes to 1968, as some of you might remember from what we've heard in terms of what happened in those days, they were not pleasant days in France. People keep talking about the winter of discontent in Britain in the 70s. But what happened in the 60s in France was on a whole new level. You got close to a level of revolution that could have completely brought down the whole system. And now Macron is completely making everybody in the Western world look weak. Like when you have the situation, the way he's handling Ukraine and Russia, but the first time when the special military operation, as Kremlin says, started, he goes to Putin, shake hands with Putin in Kremlin, hug a hoodie and all that nonsense. And then he says, oh, actually, Zelensky's my best friend. And then he sends money and everything else to Kiev. And then now he says, well, I think there could be some sort of consensus. I don't really think you can create global consensus when you have two sides attacking each other at this point. You should have paid more attention to your own country's affairs and to the European Union, because you guys are leading the European Union. Whether people like it or not, France and Germany are the key players of the European Union. Now, we are going to take a break from the nutters in Europe, and we're going to be taking a quick break and come back in half an hour and tell you about our own problems in the UK, as Penny Mordaunt and Rishi Sunak's allies are in talks to have a pact between the two to have them replace Liz Truss. Subscribe to the channel. And my Tousi and we are the media.